Let's catch up with Sarah Mitchell, who's the New South Wales Education Minister now. She's on the ground up in northern New South Wales where she's been looking at what's been going on. Can I start with that Hawkesbury issue, please, Sarah? You'd know it well. We know the arguments. There's EISs and there's complaints about heritage issues. Isn't it just paramount now that for the safety of the Windsor, the Richmond, the Hawkesbury, Nepean communities, that dam extension goes ahead as soon as possible? There should be work on it before the end of this year, surely.
Well, Chris, obviously I think, as the Mayor just said then, when there's flooding events like this, of course, it does start to raise those questions in the community about those projects and what's happening. I know Stuart Ayres is the Minister for Western Sydney is right across that, Kevin Anderson, Minister for Water, and they would, of course, in detail be looking at what they need to do to support that community. In the way that I'm up in here in Lismore looking at the schools, we've all got our role to play, and I think when these issues get brought to the forefront, when you see the flooding, I think it's natural that the community wants that action, and I can understand that.
Yeah, OK. As you mentioned, you've been looking at schools as Education Minister. So many kids across the country, including in northern New South Wales, have missed out on a lot of face-to-face schooling over the last 2 years. How big a disruption is the flooding up there? Are you looking at temporary accommodation? What do you need to do to get kids back into a learning phase?
Yeah, look, it's pretty bad up here, Chris. I'm not going to lie. We've had a lot of schools have very severe impacts from the flooding events last week. I've been to about 4 schools today, a couple of our preschools, albeit more tomorrow. We've got more than 20 schools up here that we think will have fairly significant damage, so we do need to get in and sort out what we're going to do in terms of the infrastructure. We've had schools where literally every classroom, I've never seen anything like it in terms of the flooding impact, so we need to get on and work with that. But yes, in the interim we're working, so at the moment we've got some of our high schools moving to other school sites. We've got a heap of demountables on their way up that we'll put on other school sites to get them back in the classroom. We hope as early as next week. We've got contingency plans in place. We've got more devices coming up if any students need to do online learning, but it's going to be a process, and the community here is amazing. The resilience, the work that everyone's putting in already, people that have lost their own homes are here trying to get things ready for the kids. It's been a tough day, and it's been pretty confronting, to be honest, to see what they've been through, but just that resolve to get back and support their students has come through loud and clear, which has been pretty heartening to hear as well, Chris.
You mentioned that word resilience, and resilience is such a great quality, and regional Australians have it in spades, but there's this new bureaucracy, Resilience New South Wales. It was established after the bushfires. The best of intentions is granted to look at more flood-proofing, fireproofing, the longer-term stuff so you can minimise the damage from our recurring natural disasters. But is that just adding to the bureaucracy and the mess? Would it be better just to scrap that and better fund perhaps the SES and the rural fire services and the like?
Well, I think it's about bringing everyone together and all arms of government together, and that's the point. We need to help these communities with whatever it is that they need, and even me up here, as Education Minister, there's things I'll be raising with other colleagues about, bus transport or housing for teachers. We've got to make sure that our teachers that have lost everything are really first in line for some of that temporary housing that needs to come so that they can get back to school. So the idea to have everybody across government working together, I think, is a good one, and that's what we want to do. But, as I said, we've all got our role to play in the different parts that we have here, but it's going to take a lot of work, and I just think the scale of what has happened here on the ground has to be seen to be believed, and we're going to have to be in for a long time with these communities, but we will be, because we're going to help them recover.
Well, it's great that you're up there seeing it, and I appreciate that you found the time to talk to us, Minister.
Thanks, Chris.
Sarah Mitchell there, the New South Wales Education Minister, on the ground up there near Lismore in the Northern Rivers region of New South Wales.